Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Lianorn deck profile for post-Dragon Masquerade. We got the new mask form for Lianorn in the latest Cardfight Vanguard booster set. A card that definitely does take on a different take for the Lianorn deck, being able to retire your opponent's rear guards while still setting up that boost power that this card is meant to provide, while still being able to choose two of your rear guards and then restand them at the end of the turn that this card attack, giving you more of a front row power to use with your other units that you can already attack with also. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and we'll start off with the ride deck. For the ride deck lineup, our starter is Announcing Wind of Spring, Corfi. The standard when wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. Our grade 1 is Budding of Pleasant Sounds, Gracia. When wrote upon by Brilliant Tune Rectina, you may call this card to rear guard. And our grade 2 being the Brilliant Tune Rectina with the added power of +5 when in this battle this unit boosted to Vanguard, getting an additional +5, which when you boost with Lianorn, you're boosting with all your back row grade 1s. So very useful as well. With Brilliant Tune Rectina, when this unit is wrote upon by a unit with Lianorn in its card name, you can Soul Blast 1, choose a grade 1 or less card from your drop zone, and call it to rear guard, giving you more of a setup for those grade 1s that you need on your back row circles also. With our go-to grade 3 for the ride deck being Grand March of Full Bloom Lianorn. This card has the draw power and boost that the deck had previously before, but the main setup now is to utilize this card with our new go-to grade 3 being Servitude of Funeral Procession, Lianorn Masks. This card can only be ridden from a grade 3 with Lianorn in its card name, and on the Vanguard circle, once per turn, you remove a card with Lianorn in its different card name from this unit from your hand, soul, or drop to choose a grade 1 or less name from your drop zone and call it to rear. So with this card, setting up more of your grade 1s and then choosing one of your opponent's rear guards and retiring it. So by getting rid of your original Lianorn, you can then have the additional power for your card to then be able to have set up and also take care of your opponent's rear guards. I have the 3 here and then just one of the additional because I only had 3 copies of this card, but you definitely do want to run 4 because then you also have the Persona Ride power to rely on as well. And when this unit attacks, you can choose up to 3 of your back row units with boost and boost this unit. If you boosted with 3 or more units at the end of this battle, you can blast 1, choose 2 of your rear guards and stand them, giving you more of the options of what you may want to stand, because then you could also attack with your front row units and then being able to restand them again and attack once more with those cards that I've already attacked thanks to Lianorn Mask. I also run 2 additional copies of Lianorn, so you just have more of a fodder to be able to get rid of with Lianorn Mask, because you have to remove a card with Lianorn in its different card name, so you can't remove a Lianorn Masks from the soul, sadly. So just a couple additional copies of the card so you can have that card to discard to give you more of a call and retire power for your main go-to grade 3 Lianorn Mask. For some of the other grade 3s I'm running in the deck, I'm also running 3 copies of Rotting Usurp Dragon. Now, if I had the Dragon Tree Ewellith, which is the searcher for the Mask of Hydragram, I would take this card out for 3 copies of Ewellith. Sadly, I don't have the card. I ended up trading them to a buddy of mine, but you can replace the Rotting Usurp Dragon with 3 copies of Dragon Tree Ewellith if you had them as just another grade 2 spot to be able to search out the Mask of Hydragram that much more quickly for you to use. And then also moving on now to the grade 2s, I run 3 copies of Love Binding Maiden Margaret. When it's discarded from the hand during your ride phase, you can Soul Blast 1, put this unit on the bottom of your deck, and draw 1 card. And when it's placed on rear guard, if you Persona Road this turn, you can Counter Blast 1, and your opponent cannot intercept until the end of turn. And all of your opponent's front row rear guards cannot stand during the next stand phase. So it's more of a lockdown limit for your opponent as well, while giving you more of a draw power by utilizing a Soul Blast just to draw more cards when discarding this card for your ride deck cost target. Moving on now to the grade 1s. I'm running 4 copies of Forest Protector Hunter Prosper. When it's placed on rear guard by a card's ability, you may soul charge 1. And when this unit on rear guard boost, if you have a Vanguard with Lianorn in its card name, choose a unit in the same column as this unit and it gets plus 5,000 until end of turn. So if this card is in the same column as another rear guard, you can give that rear guard the additional +5 power for when this card provides a boost to your Vanguard to at least power up that other rear guard that you may potentially stand with Lianorn Masks as well to have a better chance at hitting one of your opponent's units also. and also 4 copies of Performing Petal Diantha for the draw power when it's placed on rearguard from hand. If your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, you can counterblast 1, choose a grade 3 or less card from your drop zone, and call it to rearguard. So this gives you more of the setup for some of your other rearguard plays, being able to give you more setup with the Rotting Usurp Dragon if you wanted to go for that setup. And during your turn, if you have 2 more grade 1 or less rearguards, it gets plus 5,000, providing more of an additional power boost for your Vanguard to provide with this card also. I'm also running the 2 copies of the new Spouting Intimacy Amelia. During your turn, if your Vanguard is Servitude of Funeral Procession Lianorn Masks, this unit gets plus 5,000. And rearguard at the end of the battle, your Vanguard attacked, you can Soul Blast 1, retire this unit to countercharge 1, giving you more of a makeup for some of the other counterblasting that you may use for your other cards. Since your Diantha can choose a grade 3 or less card from your drop zone and call it, it can also help to call out some of the other cards like Prosper onto the field for you to use. With the other grade 1s that I run the deck, 2 copies of Ensemble of Smiles Amelie. When this unit boosts, if you have another grade 1 or less rearguard, this unit gets plus 2,000 to the end of that battle. Then if it boosted to grade 3 or greater Vanguard, which it will with Lianorn or Lianorn Masks, you can counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, and draw a card. So it's more draw power as well, just mixing around the different varieties of grade 1s that you can run in the deck as well, with our final grade 1 spot being the 3 copies of Custodial Dragon and the 1 copy of Elementaria Sanctitude when going up against decks that have the triple drive power. And then for the only other order that we run the deck, the 2 copies of the Mask of Hydragram, so it can search out your Mask unit Lianorn that much more faster, and then also being able to give you the Put into Soul Persona Ride search when your opponent's Vanguard is at grade 3 as well. Like I said before, if you wanted to search this card out faster, you can remove the Rotting Usurp Dragons for copies of Dragon Tree Owellith to be able to add the Mask of Hydragram that much more quickly to your hand and also provide you with a Dragon Tree marker. And then for the trigger lineup, we're going with the 8 criticals, so 4 copies of Aspiring Maiden Elena, and then the 4 copies of Melodia Pomera. So you have the option for the additional plus that you can get with the pressure provided by your Vanguard with Lianorn Masks. And for the next trigger spot, 3 copies of the Serene Maiden Lena draw trigger for the additional plus 5 shield that this card can give for guarding against your opponent's attacks as well. And for the heal triggers for Rhythmica Kiwi, I just find it to be the cutest one to run in the deck since it is a music-based deck as well, with our over trigger being Bless Favor for the heal power and the front row plus power that this card can also provide to your front row units that haven't even attacked yet after your Vanguard attacks, and then you use cards like Lianorn Masks to restand them again. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. It's a really awesome take on one of the other mask decks that we got from the booster set, going a completely different playstyle as the original Lianorn, but still using that Lianorn as the engine needed for Lianorn Masks. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Qualia out.